As a professional organizer, I feel like I've tried every organizing product on the planet. Well, at least most of them. I worked with a container store for 3 years where they would send me all of their products to try. I've helped hundreds of clients organize their home and bought products for them, and I've organized my own home. Mostly with really cheap stuff because I don't like spending a lot of money, but my point is, I feel like I'm an expert on what works and what doesn't, and I am sharing 15 really common products you probably have in your home. They are in most people's homes, but they're terrible. These are things you would never find in a professional organizer's house, and you shouldn't buy them either. We're going to start with the one I hate the most. I've talked about this before. I wish I could just have a bonfire and burn them all. That is the dreaded plastic drawer cart. Sometimes they're on wheels. You will find them at Walmart. You'll also find them in most people's homes, and they're terrible. They always just become clutter catchers, and the reason is because the drawers don't open wide enough to store anything really of use. Also, if you put anything even remotely heavy in them, they sag so you can't open the drawer below. And last but not least, they are not cleanable. You cannot remove the drawers easily, so if anything gets spilled or there's dirt or debris, they're terrible, okay? They're terrible, and they always end up like doom carts, and nobody's totally sure what's in them, and they shove them in a closet somewhere or in a corner, and they just contribute to clutter. A better option is to go with actual shelving. Cheap shelving, right? If you're like, but they're inexpensive, Cass, so are the Walmart Mainstay shelves. Really affordable, actually useful. Throw some bins on there. That will last you forever. Those plastic drawer things, they're a no. This next one, I'm going to admit I have bought. I've probably even showed you in the past. I really want to like them, but alas, they're terrible. And that is those honeycomb, like the fabric drawer divider things for socks and underwear and stuff like that. They rip so easily. They collapse like nobody's business. If you're quickly trying to put stuff away, no. Maybe you bees and crickets, you can like manage to use these, but for the rest of us, they end up just being under our clothing in the drawer. They suck, okay? They suck. Just save your money, throw your stuff in a drawer. They're unnecessary. Pop-up laundry hampers, you know the ones I mean, like they fold out. You can get them at the dollar store, but you can also buy them all over the place. It feels like, yeah, they're cheap, but also you can collapse them, so they save space, except they collapse when you want to use them all the time. Also, they're so flimsy and thin, they rip immediately. The handles rip off. Sometimes I've used them in the past for like stuffed animal storage, but even then, you're not gonna get even more than 6 months out of a pop-up laundry hamper. So you're saving money buying it in the first place, but when you have to replace your organizing system every 6 months, it adds up to way more money than just buying something good in the first place. So I would totally recommend staying away from like any type of pop-up laundry hampers. Just no. I'm gonna climb on my soapbox right now to shout about my hatred for toy boxes. I hate toy boxes. I think toy boxes should never be an option for kids' toys because they are mess makers. They are doom boxes where everybody just shoves everything in. There's no categories. And then when a child wants to play with something, you have to take everything out or they dump it, they make a mess, they empty it to find what they want. Which means now everything's everywhere. These are an absolute nightmare. Plus they pinch fingers. Can we just say no? No toy boxes. And along that same line, no aged themed storage containers. You know the ones they have with the little foxes or bears on them or princesses. They're so cute, right? And you want to use those for all your kids' things, except children grow insanely fast. They are so overpriced. And before you know it, now you have bins that you can't use for anything else. They're not taking fairy princess bins to college with them. If you're going to invest money in a storage container, invest in something neutral that will last. That stuff is expensive. Make sure you're getting something that you're going to get your money out of long term. Let me know in the comments below if you have ever purchased one of these. These were common definitely like a decade ago, but I still see them, and that is these cube wire shelves. The ones that you can assemble yourself. They have like these little discs and you click all the wire into them, and it takes you 50 hours to make it, and they immediately fall apart. They're the worst. One, they're flimsy. Two, things fall through the wire. So anything small that you're trying to organize is just gonna fall right through all of those little like squares. More importantly, you can't really move it. It's like it falls apart just to touch it. Bumping into it, you're gonna have pieces falling down. So if you're using something to store your stuff that isn't stable, it often becomes just a huge mess maker. An alternative to this would be cube shelving. An expensive option is like IKEA, but Closet Made actually makes really affordable wood cube shelving. I don't think they're real wood, but I digress. Throw some plastic bins from the dollar store on this. That will last you your entire life. The wire build your own cube storage is going to fall apart within the month. So yes, it might be about $10 cheaper than the cube shelving from Walmart, but if it's not going to work, it's just a waste of money. I know you're going to get mad at me for this one, but I'm just going to say it because everyone has them. Those like pre-filled spice racks that you buy. I know you have one. You know the spice rack, it's either in your cabinet or it's on your counter. Maybe it's a spinny, maybe it's a wall-mounted one, and it comes with all the spices you could ever need, and they're pre-labeled, right? In these beautiful jars, except be real with me, you use maybe 6 of those spices. You know what I'm saying? The rest are just wasting space. And also, maybe you want a new spice that isn't like part of that, or a steak spice or something. Like, where do you put that? Spice racks like this, honestly, are such a huge waste of space. It's way better to make your own, or even get a basket where you just throw all your random spices in. But if you want something visual on the counter, fill your own spice jars. Like, make your own custom kind of system, and don't use the pre-bought one that leaves no room for flexibility. It leaves no room for you and what you actually use and like. It just becomes another thing on the counter, wasting space. Also, can I just mention the magnet ones? No. The ones that like stick on the side of the fridge or on your backsplash or whatever, or underneath. To use those, they make such a mess. You have to take them out. You have to like set it straight and then make sure you shake it so all the spices aren't in the lid, because when you open it, otherwise you just get spices all over the place. It should not be a multi-step process to season your food. Just no. Just put them in a basket. Moving on. I'm so guilty of buying this. Spinning desk organizers. Specifically, let's just hate on the ones from Michaels. If you're a crafter, you probably have one. You probably have 5. Every craft room has these. They seem like they're going to be awesome, except the little compartments that they come with aren't great for every supply. And these drawers, what are the drawers for? You end up trying to like make it work for you know what I mean? You end up like looking for stuff to fill it and not actually filling it with things you use. When you have compartments like this that are like a definite size, it isn't flexible and it rarely works. It takes up almost a foot of space on your desk, and a way better option is just using cups or using a little desk organizer that you determine what goes inside. For me, I just have little cups and bins just like this. You can just get these from the dollar store. And if you want this to spin, just put it on a normal, like Lazy Susan. Make your own. Make it fit your stuff. Stop trying to make your stuff fit the organizer. And my favorite thing, if you are visual, is to opt for a pegboard system right above your desk and then put these type of cups off of the desktop, but still really visual. This is a way better option and honestly less money than that fancy spinny thing. Don't buy that. I'm coming for your coat tree. I've actually bought a coat tree in the past. I shouldn't have, because I had so many clients that had coat trees. Never work out. Here's why. It seems like a great option until you start actually putting coats on it, and then it takes up like 3 square feet of your floor space. Even if you tuck it in a corner, it's almost impossible to get to the coats at the back. And now you have to take coats off to get to the stuff underneath. It just becomes a mess maker, like a doom tree, and they fall over all the time. Why do they even sell these things? Hooks on the wall is a way better option, especially if you stagger them so you have some, just above eye level and then some at waist level. You are going to maximize your space without taking up any floor space. So if you don't have a closet in your entranceway, don't get a coat tree, man. Opt for hooks on the wall instead. Let's talk about specialty closet organizers. There's a bunch that are just no. I have tried them all. My old closet with Joe, I didn't have a lot of space. I shared a small closet with him, so I bought the little extenders, the tabs that go on the hanger to make it two hanger things. I bought the ones that totally drop, so you could put 6 pairs of pants on one hanger. Yeah, no, none of those little gimmicky things actually worked. They just made the hangers really heavy, hard to get out, and just the closet was like more difficult to use. It feels like it should be saving space, but in fact, it makes things just harder to get to. A better option is obviously to declutter. But I will say when it comes to fancy hangers, I have come to the dark side. I used to hate velvet hangers because I had only ever tried the ones from the dollar store that immediately snap. But when I went to good quality from Amazon, they were still really affordable and cheap. I will say those save space and those make it so your clothes don't slip off the hangers, making your closet way more functional. They're worth the investment. All the other fancy gadgets, not so much. Except my new thing I'm using, which is like a hanger with clips for pants. I do love that gadget. I digress. Another thing that I have a love-hate relationship with in closets are those tiered fabric hanging organizers. Sometimes you use them for sweaters or purses. In the past, I've used them to organize like clothing for the days of the week for my kids. I love them and hate them because they could really work unless you overload them, which someone like me often overloads them. And then they rip and they sag and they just become something that is taking up way more space in your closet than just properly putting things away. Or adding shelving, like real shelving to your closet. An inexpensive closet organizing system in the long run is a way better investment than a lot of these cheap fabric sorters. Let me know in the comments below if you have one of these plastic shoebox organizer things. I actually have tried these for clients in the past who had a really small budget. I've tried one from Temu before just to see. I don't know why I keep buying these things because they're terrible. They're terrible because one, they're really flimsy, so they collapse and fall apart all the time. The second part that I hate is because those little drawers in the front that drop down, they often don't stay up. So you're spending a lot of time like trying to fix your system. I'm going to go ahead and say you will never find this in a professional organizer's house, and you should never buy it for your own house either. I am filled with so much shame. Ventilated fruit storage. I'm ashamed because I showed you these and told you they were a good idea, but I'm also ashamed that I still have them. Because look at the size of these things. Any kind of fruit keeper or vegetable keeper that you add to your fridge that has like ventilation. These ones have little like filters on the top where you have to buy replacement filters. They work, sure. They do keep your fruits and vegetables like longer, but they're gigantic. Look at this. Plus, it's like a whole thing to use them. It's effort. And they take up so much room in the fridge that it just becomes, unless you are real healthy and the only thing in your fridge is fruits and vegetables and you don't have leftovers or meat or milk or juice or anything else, I feel like these are a giant waste of space. Why do I still have them, Cass? That's what you're saying. Why haven't I decluttered them yet? Because they're like $1 bazillion. And I need to take my own medicine. The money has been spent. I'm decluttering these today. Have you guys heard of these smart home organizing systems? This is actually new to me. I had a client ask for this one time. It is an app or some sort of computer system that you can get where you enter all the things that are in all of your bins, and then it prints like a scan code that you can then put on the outside of your bin, like this is some big box store and you need to keep track of your ridiculous amount of inventory, and then you scan it with your phone and it tells you what's in the bin. If you need this type of system to keep track of your storage, you have way too much stuff. This is redonkulous. You know what? Like, no, declutter. If you need to have a professional system managing every bin, and you can't just write what's in it on the outside because it's too much and you have too many bins, you gotta declutter. I'm sorry, you gotta declutter. This is overcomplicating something that you could do with a pen. Don't buy that. Plus, they're really expensive. These next items, I feel like I do have a love-hate relationship with. So sometimes they're like my favorite things, and honestly, I buy them, but also then I curse myself for buying them sometimes. You'll know when I tell you. Let's go with like these fabric cubes. Oh man, I'm a huge fan of calyx shelves, so I've always bought the fabric bins. The problem is, I'm just going to show you this one. Immediately they start looking like this, especially if they're in high traffic areas, kids' rooms, storing toys, anything like that. Like you use them every day and they start collapsing and looking like absolute. So yeah, they only cost you $5, but next year you have to buy another one and another one and another one. And for $10, you could have got a good quality plastic hard one that would have lasted you forever, or wood, which we have here for the cube shelving. It feels like, it's so expensive. I'm going to go with the cheap option. But are you really saving money if you have to replace it every year? Not really. So I feel like if it's a spot that you hardly ever use, I still love these. I love them and I love labeling them and ironing them on. But the reality is, I've bought so many to replace old ones. I could have just had nice, solid ones and saved myself some money in the long run. Another love-hate that I have are vacuum seal bags. Vacuum seal bags, they're so fun to use, right? You like suck all the air out, but the reality is they lose that, like they end up like getting pinholes, or for whatever reason, they end up reinflating really easily. Plus, if it's something like your bedding that you're using on a regular basis, are you really bringing the vacuum out every time? No, stop it. So for things like if you're camping in a trailer and you don't want it to get moisture, I feel like vacuum seal can work. Or if you're storing something that you rarely ever use, like off-season clothing, and it's one time a year, yeah, it saves space. But for regular use or something that you're just storing for the sake of storing, waste of money. And finally, suction cup organizers, especially in the shower, you know, where you like stick it on and you're thinking, this is gonna be awesome, except you're constantly picking it up because it never actually stays. I have a love-hate relationship with these because I've actually found some that work. I found some like peel and stick awesome ones from Amazon that are still 2 years later going strong. But I also have this suction cup on the side of my shower that because you twist it down, it has stayed and not moved, and I love. But again, they were like twice as much as just the cheap little stick. So we feel like when we buy the cheap ones, we feel like we're saving money, but if it doesn't work and it doesn't last, it's costing you money. It's just going to be something you're going to have to declutter 2 months from now. So save yourself the heartache and just get the good ones. I'll put a link down below into like the suction cups I actually love and the shower organizers I actually love from Amazon down below. Don't get the ones from the dollar store. You will throw them out. I promise. I'm actually curious how many of these products you have or you've purchased in your home. I have definitely purchased all of these things multiple times because I tried them because they're cheap and I'm like, yeah, I don't have a lot of money to spend. I'm gonna go with this option. But they don't work. They don't last. They end up just costing me money or contributing to the clutter. So let me know how many of these 15 things you have or you've bought, and if there's anything else that you've tried that ended up just being a huge waste of money. Let's help each other out and share in the comments below. I hope you learned something today, my friend. Oh wait, let's do tip of the week.
Clutterbug tip of the week.
Tip of the week, where I share a quick Clutterbug tip with you. But the tip today is don't buy any fancy organizing systems until you've decluttered first. Yes, I shared a bunch of things I wouldn't recommend buying, but also maybe don't buy anything, honestly. I feel like when our house is really messy, our instinct is to go to the store and get some Rubbermaid totes or some new bins. Like, more stuff is going to solve the problem of too much stuff. Except it never works out. We end up with just doom bins filled with who knows what. So I would encourage you, before you go to the Amazon shopping cart or you go to Walmart because you're trying to get out of the mess and clutter, fill a trash bag first. Really. And I recently shared this boot camp video. It was weird, but a lot of people found it really motivating because if you're struggling to let go, maybe it's time you get mad, not at yourself for not being able to do it, but at the stuff for stealing your space, stealing your time, and making you feel bad about your home. You ready to be ruthless? I'll put a link to that video in the comments below. Wait, I forgot, again, before I let you go, I am giving away some virtual organizing and decluttering makeovers. This is so fun. If you have a space in your home, maybe it's your pantry or your bedroom or your kitchen, and it's just not working, or you're really sick of the clutter but you don't know where to start, I want to help. What I'll be giving away is 4 sessions with me through Zoom. I'll also be donating all the supplies that you need, whether it's shelving or bins and baskets. So this is going to cost you absolutely nothing except a little bit of your time and you being brave enough to put your space on the internet. So if you're interested and you want me to help you make your space amazing, take your phone, turn it sideways, and make a quick before video of the space, or take a few pictures and send them to makeover@clutterbug.com. We're all gonna vote. We're all gonna vote on the first place, the first makeover that we want to start with, and I'm hoping it's you. Again, send videos and photos to makeover@clutterbug.com, and hopefully I'll be helping you real soon. Thank you guys so much for those of you who have stayed to the end. I woke up blind. Like legit, just in one eye. Bizarre. This has happened a few times to me in the past, and I've shared about it, where I see colors and flashes and then go blind and then get a migraine. I don't have a migraine today. I just woke up with a bright light completely blocking this eye. I'm a bit of a hypochondriac, so I went down the rabbit hole of Google, which I could hardly read, which was like, your retina's detaching, you're having a stroke. So I did the arm drift thing, I took my blood pressure, I took my blood oxygen levels. I'm fine. I think a migraine's coming. Or I'm tired and I need a nap. I don't know, but it is so weird. I literally, half of my eye is just, it's like someone's shining a spotlight in it, and then I got a black blob here. So this is the scary thing. Diagnose me. Diagnose me in the comments below. Am I dying? Should I see a doctor? Will my brain explode? Is my eyeball gonna fall out? Do retinas just detach? When it detaches, does it fall out and onto the floor? I gotta go Google. Let me know in the comments below. Diagnose me. Okay, but love you. Bye.